Good morning, everyone. Welcome to the latest one-to-one digital dialogue. My name is Marshall Redmayne. I'm joined today by the CEO and, let's say, the main man behind Camper Nicholsons International, one of the oldest brands, the most sort of proud heritage companies in the yachting space, and a company that's really going on a very interesting path for the future. Paolo, good morning. How are you?
Good morning, Martin. Good morning, everybody. I'm very fine. Thank you very much.
And where are you today?
I'm in Ancona today in a business trip visiting shipyards.
Excellent, excellent, wonderful. And is that a big part of your current process and program? Are you always in the shipyards, or is that something you like doing?
Well, I normally go visiting shipyards on a regular basis. I'd like to do more, but unfortunately, this is not possible because time is running very fast.
Yeah.
But I think for us, it's absolutely important to be on the field.
Yeah.
As much as possible, let's say, because anytime we go, we touch, let's say, base with the reality, with people, with clients, with shipyards, and is very important for us. So I do quite often, and my purpose for the future is to do more as soon as we are allowed to travel, because that's another problem.
Absolutely, absolutely. So listen, the topic of conversation is called Brokerage for the Next Generation, and I think what's interesting, having read all the recent wealth data, the Bloomberg numbers, the WealthX numbers, the topic of conversation is how many people are in the world that really can afford to play in our market. And above 100 million in value, in wealth, there's about 60,000 people. And there's many more above the 30 million bracket. So almost like 250,000, I think the latest number is. So that to me is there's a huge potential marketplace, vast. Yet the brokerage industry, although it's still a very sort of interesting dynamic, are selling around a couple of hundred yachts a year, as I understand, in this sort of typical cycle. And I saw recently there was an announcement, we've sold more yachts in 2020 than we'd have in 2019. So that brings the question, the market penetration we're seeing is still tiny compared to the potential client base. So what do you think we can do better, Paolo? What can we do smarter to sort of engage that vast potential marketplace? That's obviously one of the things that we've talked about in the past, and one of the things that is foremost in your business plan. So what can we do better?
Well, this is a 1 billion question. So, listen, you know that my previous experience in my business life was in other different industries. So I come from the fashion industries. And when 15 years ago I approached this industry, I found that the industry, in terms of approach to the market, is very, let's say, is very far behind. Okay, so what is mainly, let's say, frustrating today is to see that this industry doesn't follow the evolution of the markets. So honestly, and to be very open, I think that we work as it used to be in 20 years ago or 30 years ago. I mean, I'm talking in general, no, because then inside the brokerage industry there are different realities, etc. But in general, the approach to the market is similar to the one of 20, 30 years ago. And the market has changed very much. So there is a disconnection between the approach that most of us has today with the reality of the market. And that is probably the main reason why we are not able to better penetrate the market today, to reach, let's say, new cluster of buyers, of charterers, then for sure are there waiting for us. So that's why I think the future of this industry will be successful only if we are able to implement, let's say, a new approach to the business, a new vision to of the business, and new tools, let's say, and also a different mentality. Yes. Honestly, it seems to me that we need to improve, let's say, our We need to leave a little bit of individualism, which is still very high in the industry, to privilege a more, let's say, team approach to the business. The market, as we said, has changed very much. If you compare the market today and 20 years ago, or even 10 years ago, you can easily realize how many different situations there are today. So how many different regulations, rules, and also, I mean, the competition is getting difficult, and we need to be specialized. So we must have, this, in my opinion, is a must-have. We must have an approach as a team, as a company to the market, and not as an individual. An individual today is not anymore able to respond to all the requests of the market.
I think that's an interesting point, because obviously an individual, and this is part of my sort of conversation we've had in the past, an individual is driven by the end goal of a reward for selling a boat. And I think that is very much part of the focus of the brokerage market, where it's about one deal at a time. And as an industry, we've got to look at the market as how do we grow the market with multiple deals that bring more clients into the market and look after them. This whole sort of life cycle, logistics, and also owner services business, that is where we need to sort of evolve into, because you can't have 200 people going around the world trying to sell one boat at a time. That doesn't grow a market. And I think what you have done, and what you're building now, is a new way of looking after the customer. And I think that's the key part of this growth strategy. So in that sort of topic of how do we get more people, is there something that we don't do well, or we need to do better, that makes the new client think yachting is an exciting opportunity? Because again, there's lots of conversation, Paolo, about during COVID, more people sort of consider yachting as a safe haven. Is this an opportunity now to really win the minds of the customer who's never tried it before? Is this our time?
Well, sure, it's an opportunity. I mean, any crisis normally generates opportunities, okay? And
Yes.
we need to learn, and we need to understand which is the opportunity, honestly. We had also many problems from COVID, and we cannot hide this. But if we are clever and we understand which are the opportunities. I think COVID, to be honest, created a disruption, is creating a disruption in our business, but is not changing, let's say, the evolution of the industry. It's probably accelerating the evolution of the industries, but not changing, not stopping on changing, let's say, direction, okay? So think about the market years ago. Most of the time, when our brokers, our people, our salespeople got in touch with the clients, they got in touch directly with the clients, discussing central agency, a business, a buying, etc., directly with the owners. Today, most of the time, you do not talk directly to the owner, but you talk to family offices, to wealth management company, to banks, banks that maybe they are behind the owner financing the buying, etc. So it's a different approach. And what I'm saying, we need to learn from this, and we need to learn to approach this new reality. When you talk to wealth management, let's say, professional, it's not like talking to an owner, or it's not like talking to somebody else. You must be prepared to answer his questions and to get his trust, okay? So you must approach him as a company, because you must be competent in terms of financials, legal, compliance, marketing, important, and also sales, of course, no? So it's a combination of many, many different competencies. And normally, this is better, let's say, executed by a team of people, by a company, rather than by a single man.
Yes.
That is important. And this is a change of attitude. This is a change of approaching, let's say, the market, no? And being more a team than a single professional. What I think is that what we need to learn from this situation is that, I mean, our industry is full of very competent people. We have very capable, let's say, professionals. And the efforts that we have to do all together is to include, let's say, the strength of these people inside a team. and working better, completing, let's say, their experience and helping them to approach the market and to respond to today's needs of the market. Again, COVID, in my opinion, is an accelerator. So it's creating an acceleration, but the trend was already in place before. And this is what Camper is doing, what Camper started to do a few years ago, no? Creating a team of experts, helping our sales team, but not only sales team, also charter team, also management team, also, let's say, all our teams, we have 7 divisions providing, let's say, luxury service to the market. So we think that today the customer has to be approached in this way, as a company providing the service that the client needs at the moment, okay? And the more we are able to do, and the more we are able to improve the quality of our services, which is another important point, so quality is a magic word, the more we'll be successful. Again, quality. You mentioned before that the industry is very fraction, is a reality. And this doesn't help, to be honest. Doesn't help because we divide the business in many different small river, etc. So I think this doesn't help the growth of the industry. Okay, it's very difficult today in a small team of in a small company with 1 or 2 or 3 people, maybe husband, wife, and maybe the son, to respond to the market today. Okay. So that is something that this industry has to think about, and maybe it's part of the transition phase. Maybe the COVID, in this sense, will accelerate something, a little bit, the process of evolution, but it's part of the evolution process, which is in place at the moment.
Yeah. So, okay, let's go back to the topic of frustrations. What else really since your time in the yachting space and in the current landscape, what are the things that really frustrate you? But as a business leader, as a CEO, someone trying to drive a business in the future, what's the frustrations that you come across that we really need to focus in on and change?
Well, for example, the individualism of the industry.
Yeah.
And to me, the industry today, because when we talk, I'm CEO of a brokerage company, but when I talk about the industry, in my mind, there is not only the brokerage world, but also the shipyards, also the shipyard world. Okay, to me, it's just one industry, because we approach at the end. For me is the individualism of the industry. So we are not able to create, let's say, association, community, to defend and to enhance, let's say, the interest of our companies. We are not able to do together plans to improve, let's say, or to respond to our industry. And honestly, Martin, you know that we left Libra a few years ago, and this is the main reason why we left Libra, because we didn't recognize Libra as an association capable to respond these, let's say, these needs, these requests of the companies. So we are not able to join at our, let's say, inside our brokerage, let's say, industry. And even more important is in the future is to do this together with the shipyards, with, for example, CBAS, with the Shipyard Association. I mean, there is this is a lack, okay, of a lack, an important lack of, let's say, in our industry today. So we are not able to create a association taking care of our interest in that respect.
Yeah, so I think what's interesting there is that you've got Libra and CBAS and local various other associations that have a finite size and scope in terms of number of companies involved. So it doesn't represent the whole industry. It represents a very small part, a small important part, obviously. Are you suggesting there needs to be a singular association that represents our industry, or what would you like to see happen from that association topic that would represent what we really need to change?
Well, there are too many common interests between, let's say, our two industries, so shipyards and brokerage. Now, honestly, I don't know if we need just one association or two associations working together very closely. But I think what is important is not the number of associations. What is important is the plan, is the strategy, is working together. I see that we do a lot of meetings, we do a lot of discussion, and then there is no follow-up. We do not execute. This is what is frustrating me first, very much, honestly. I'm not. I'm a businessman, so I'm a man doing business. So I'm working every day just to get, let's say, just to think a plan and to do execution of plans. And what I would like to see is the execution of plans. And most of the time, we talk, and we do not execute. This is what I think is more frustrating today for us. So we are obliged to do things alone, which is not good, honestly. Sure. It's not the best approach, but is the only one possible today. And I see that the approach is more or less the same for all the others, because we are scared to share. We don't want to, let's say, there is a competition which is beyond, let's say, the normal commercial competition that should be. It's normal, no? Because I mean, we are competitors for something, but we are also on the same side for something else. Yes. So we should more, let's say, open to share the common interest of the industry, and not only our company's interest.
Yeah. I think that's a very interesting topic as well. This sharing of information. It's a thing that has often been discussed in the market in terms of lack of transparency or lack of market intelligence that gives people confidence. How do you think that will that ever change?
Well, honestly, I don't know. I think we should work better together, at least the leaders of the industry, and sharing common plans, sharing agenda, simple agenda with not many topics, let's say. Otherwise, we do not realize, we do not execute, and then taking a formal engagement to execute in a short time, because we don't have time to waste. That's the point. We cannot take 1 year to execute or to implement a plan. We need to do it faster. The market goes quickly and doesn't wait for us.
Yeah, no, agree. Interesting. So in terms of, let's say, the future from your perspective today, what are your expectations? Feeling confident? We have the potential market, but are we on the right track in terms of delivering on growth, or are we just is there a status quo we're seeing at the moment?
I'm very positive, honestly, because there is a future. In my opinion, there is a future. It's up to us now to get the opportunity. So I can tell you what Camper Nicholsons is doing, because it's difficult for me to talk about others. But Camper Nicholsons has embraced a strategy a couple of years ago, which is the one to improve our, let's say, eco-digital system, let's say, by acquiring a tech company and including merging this tech company into Camper Nicholsons.
Yeah.
For our sales people, sales broker, charter broker, your management departments, your management accounting, etc., all built in-house. And this is a plan that we decided to do in-house because we weren't able to do as in the industry, because that was a plan, in my opinion, to develop in the industry, and we couldn't, so we decided to do it in-house. But we are very, very happy to do that, because thanks to this, we are able today to reach a new category of clients or potential clients, to improve our, let's say, communications capability and to do many things that before was difficult to do. We are still in the middle, so we still have a lot to do. But when we will be at the end, the company will be completely different. So our goal today is to give our people, so our sales team, in principle, all the best tools possible to be the winner in the market. Then, of course, it's a matter of people. It's a matter of everybody of us has to put something on the table, has to put our, let's say, commitment. But if we have tools and we have better opportunities, this is probably easier. I'm very confident for in the future. But the condition is that we are able to understand the new business model. And we are quick in adaptation to the new business model. And sometimes, of course, we struggle, but in my opinion, we are on the right track.
Yeah.
The industry is not completely on the same track, in my opinion. So somebody yes, but somebody no. So that is a process that probably will take a bit of time, but is a must.
Yeah, yeah.
Is a must. And there is also, as you know, there are some changes in the industry. Have been some changes in the recent past, no? And I assume and I think that there will be others in the near future. So it's also interesting to see how the industry will face, let's say, at the end of this, let me say, restructuring period for many companies will face the market.
Yes, yeah. Well,
there will be a different level of competition, I think, and we have to be prepared to do.
By that, you're referring to the mergers and acquisitions and the reorganizations of certain companies.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah,
and there will be others, most probably. So
yeah. No, I agree. I think across both the shipyard landscape and the brokerage landscape, there is almost this evolution phase of reorganization or regrouping in some cases. Now, that's a natural progression in many industries, and I think we may see this sort of new playing field, if you like, for the market, where you've got less players, better organized. And that's where you've been saying for years, we need to be better organized. So it's an interesting evolution. Listen, there's another quick question I have. Obviously, the language is that we've had the same sort of sales performance this year as last year, but this year we've had not one single significant boat show. And obviously we'll have Fort Lauderdale in about 10 days' time, but like, what do you think is going to change there? Because obviously everyone's going to say, well, we had no difference in sales performance. What are you thinking about for 21 and beyond in terms of that customer experience of a physical sales environment?
But you think about boat shows and you think about boat shows in 2021. Well, I mean, what I think is quite clear, and I told in many different situations, etc. So I think that today there are too many boat shows around the world. We have been confusing people, in my opinion, because confusing people and putting companies in a difficult situation, because it's impossible for us. Now I'm talking for Camper Nicholsons to follow all, let's say, the boat shows in the world, because we should have 10 times people we have, we should have 10 times the budget we have, and this is not possible, because I mean we must keep an equilibrium in our balance sheet.
Yes.
So what I think is that, and I hope is that I mean, some boat shows, in my opinion, are important, because there are the windows towards the market. There should be a selection, and even in this sense, it's absolutely important that the industry is united. No, because if we all think the same at the end, we can also influence a little bit boat shows around the world, etc. So I think there should be less boat shows, maybe changing a little bit the strategy. So boat shows, in my opinion, should be a platform to get in touch with new clients, with new prospects. Okay, because everybody of us is able to talk to his own clients. Okay, but what is important is to advertise the industry, is to communicate the industry to the new cluster of people, or clients. Sorry. So I think boat shows should become a platform to increase the prospect networks. So in
Yes.
other words, it's not only a matter of organizing a nice boat shows with nice booths, berth, or events, this and that, which is of course important. It's part of the business, but also to be able to reach, as organizer of boat shows, okay, to reach new cluster of people, inviting new cluster of people, creating the interest in these people to be visiting, let's say, the boat shows and events. For this reason, also, we cannot have 100 boat shows during the year in the world. We should concentrate area by area, market by market, some main, let's say, boat shows, and then, and that's it. So, and personally, I do believe more in events, better focused on clients, on cluster of clients, on particular subject, etc. Because it's also easier to manage the communication, to invite clients, and to involve, say, people. Okay, but I think international boat shows are important. So, for example, the Monaco boat show. I mean, we cannot do without, in my opinion. There should be, in my opinion, an evolution as well. We have been talking with the organizer. But again, if we could do this with just one vision, would be much better.
Yes. Yeah. No, I think it's interesting because obviously what you just said there is the most important part is finding the new customers. And we've said there's 60,000 of them. The question really comes down to, is the boat show environment an attractive proposition for a brand new customer? Yes, you can see all the products on display, but is it, let's call it sophisticated enough or entertaining enough for a customer to come and say, I'm going to experience yachting?
Well, most of the boat shows today, no, as they are organized at the moment. So this is exactly what I said before. So, and I think it's important to understand which should be the evolution of boat shows as well in an industry which is changing, in an industry which is getting different. Okay, people also, expert owners are getting funding. So I think we need to improve the yachting, let's say, experience during the boat shows in a different way. I mean, it's not enough today to ask people to come to the boat shows and visiting 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 10 yachts. At the end of the day, or at the end of the boat shows, they get a little bit confused. And normally, yes, this can help, of course, but doesn't pay back, let me say, all the efforts, the investments, etc., necessary to organize this kind of events. So we need to think something different. We need to think a little bit out of the box, and we must be a little bit more brave to embrace a different strategy. But we can do, if we do together, it's much better.
Yeah. I think the final comment I wanted to ask you about, which is something I think is very, very interesting from a brokerage perspective for the future. One of the big subjects is the word fees and commissions, the amount of percentage for a transaction. Do you think that's going to change in the future? Do you think that's going to be something we have to adapt from a team approach or a fee structure that is more in line with client services or the wealth management world? Or is this percentage of the deal still the driving force?
Well, if the percentage of the deal will be the driver in the future, we are dead, in my opinion. So I think to me it's not that important, let's say, which is the split of commission, etc. What is important is to create, let's say, the company team. I think brokers are very important in the industry. They made the industry, and they are still making the industry.
Yeah.
I think we need to find a way altogether, brokers included, to be part of a company, to be part of a team of people. Then the way to pay everybody of us, I mean, can be on commissions, can be based on commission, can be based on salaries, can be based on many other things. But for sure, improving all the forms, improving the team, are, in my opinion, very welcome. So in this sense, we are working in Camper Nicholsons to try to change without penalizing anybody, because we don't have to penalize people. But we think that we need to better, let's say, evaluate the competencies of our people. So I think that the best broker can continue to be the best broker, or can be much better if he works together in a team. If he works alone, he will be a good broker, but less performing than the one with the same competencies, with the same level of experience, working in a stronger team. And I also think that today the industry, in terms of brokers, sales brokers mainly, but also charter brokers, is made by some very good and experienced people. But what we miss is a middle generation of people. Okay, so and this is a fact, and we need to ask ourselves why this is the reality today. No, not because we miss good people. No, absolutely not. Because the market is changed. The market is changing, and I mean the most experienced, they continue to be very successful, but behind. We need to create a new, let's say, team of people, because the market is requiring a different approach, as I said many times also in this meeting, in this interview. So it's up to our companies to do. If we are blind and we do not understand this, I mean, in 5-10 years, we may have big problems.
Yes, yeah. Okay, as a final comment or question, you've been in the business how long now? 4 or 5 years?
In Camper?
Yeah.
Sorry?
How long have you been with Campers now? I've forgotten.
Yes, 5 years. 5 years and few months. Yeah,
so in that 5 years, Paolo, what's the most valuable lesson you've learned about our industry?
Well, it's a wonderful industry, to be honest. But I came also from other experience in the yachting, let's say, industries. And it's a beautiful industry. It's a beautiful product, to be honest. I'm in love with this product. Yeah. I've always been owner of small yachts, because since when I was a child. I think we have to contribute to help the industry to become a real industry. Okay, because even some of the most important shipyards, not only brokerage industries, but they are still very artisanal companies. And even though maybe they have 2,000 people working, in the brokerage is even more important, because we are all a small company at the end of the day. Even the largest company are quite small. So we need to work on getting our company stronger, and by modernizing the companies. That is the only way we can do. We can survive in the future. So then there are many other possibilities, mergers or other, let's say, other possibilities. But thinking about the growth and internal growth of the company, I think we can do only by growing our experiences, by growing our services, by growing the quality of our services, which is very important. So clients are looking for quality, are looking for good services at the right price, of course. But they are not looking, let's say, I mean, they want, at the end, they are happy to pay if they receive a good service.
Yes, agreed. Okay, Paolo, thank you very much indeed for your time. A pleasure always talking to you, and I'll see you very soon when we can get together. Yeah. Thank you very much, Paolo.
Very, very welcome. Thank you very much, Martin. Thank you, everybody.
See you soon. Bye-bye.